somebody said coming out, we either the smartest or the dumbest coaching staff, not putting him back there.
That's pretty much how they describe our show, the dumbest and the smartest guys all wrapped up in one. I'll take the mantle as the dumbest, and it ain't even close. Well,
you can be Lloyd Christmas.
Howie's not here today, though.
That's true.
Hey, Howie's taking the day off because we're talking about UK football legends. Yes, there are some. Say hello to Darrell Byrd of the Cat's Paws.
Appreciate it. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's a good chance to sit back with some of the guys we caught up with at the spring game to talk about some of their memories and the state of the program as it is. It's going to be a lot of fun.
This portion of the Red and Blue Review is brought to you by the Kentucky Office of Highway Safety, who reminds you that one text or call could wreck it all. Well, one of the first topics we're going to talk about reflects back on what Joker was just mentioning. Of course, they played that wide receiver at quarterback, Matt Rohr, to end that streak against Tennessee. And so we talked to Bill Ransdell, who now is no longer the answer of the trivia question, who was the last Kentucky quarterback to beat Tennessee and Florida?
Now, Bill Ransdell, it sounds like that's changed, but it hasn't, because the last guy to beat Tennessee was a wide receiver.
No, you can't do that. That's not fair, fellas, you know. A young man played his heart out, and he was a quarterback in high school, and it's been funny. Some friends of mine have, jabbed at me that way, but no, it's Mr. Rourke. He's the guy, and it's off my eye.
Tell me about that moment when you were watching that.
You know what? We had actually gone out of town with some family, and so we were coming back and had satellite, and we're listening to every play, and I get goosebumps right now. My phone's lighting up, in the fourth quarter from everybody texting, and I'm driving down the road, and my wife's sitting there, she's sitting there just, what am I doing? How do I respond? What do you want me to say? So I'm telling her, hey, tell this one, tell this one, and they're, are you ready to rush the field? I said, I'm not here. I'm not physically in the stadium, but we had it on satellite. I got goosebumps right now thinking about it. It was an awesome, it was a good accomplishment. Something needed to happen. It was way too long.
From a pure football perspective, how remarkable is what we witnessed that day? To do what they did, putting Matt in like that.
I think it just shows that the flexibility and really the depth of coaching that's there. I mean, to be able to sit there and basically in a week turn it and to get what they want to get out of it, and defensively for them to play. And people can say, well, Tennessee wasn't this and Tennessee wasn't that. I don't care who it is. Any given Saturday or any given Sunday, anybody can beat anybody. And you still have to line up, and it's 11 on 11. And I think what they were able to accomplish and the way he executed it, and it wasn't just him, it's the entire thing. From what I could hear, listening to Tom on the radio, I mean, a few key points, because we heard the entire thing on the radio. I mean, so, I'm going left to right on the radio, old school, and I'm enjoying the heck out of it, But wife, Deidre had that grab wheel a couple of times on me, here we go. So third down or fourth down, and they punt, and we get the ball back, and I'm talking out loud. She said, just let it go. I mean, what are you trying to think through it for? I said, well, that's what I do. But Bill, I just think it was great the way they did it.
Is there a piece of you that doesn't want to be that quarterback anymore, to beat Tennessee?
Always has been. Yeah. Always has been. Oh, yeah. I've never, it's not a record to me. Never has been. Somebody brought that up years ago, and I said, we should be having conversations with guys every year that have, continue just moving forward and winning, beating programs. Georgia we had a tough time with for years. I mean, I don't think we beat Georgia. Nobody talks about that. But it's never been one of those things for me. It's never been a record of sorts. I think that when you get to looking at those kind of things, that it's futility, for lack of a better way to put it. And I think that you just want to win. I mean, I don't think it's good for athletics, whether it's Kentucky, Tennessee, Kentucky, Florida, or Notre Dame, or Texas, or whoever it is. I think people have to beat people to be able to sit there and have some competition.
When you look at what Joker's done the last couple of years, he's had losing records, but he's the first coach at Kentucky to beat Steve Spurrier at any school, and of course he snapped the Tennessee streak. What should that tell us about Joker?
I think it's if nothing else showing that he's got a plan. He's put it into place, and while I think the expectation has been that it would be from Coach Brooks to Joe would be just very seamless. I think it's been a little more than that with what he's incorporating from his standpoint and his philosophies. And I think that if nothing else, you take away of what he's been able to accomplish with his staff and with his players. And I think that that's something that you can see that's coming. And although all of us are sitting there thinking, okay, we're winning 6 and 7, we're going to be winning 6, 7, 8, moving on up the rung, it just didn't quite work that way. And I think that's part of just a transition at any level, no matter what it is. I really don't pay much attention through the years of all the different programs, but I don't know many that, that just jump out at to me that somebody just transitioned in even though they'd already been on the staff. I mean, it's a different, there's different leadership and there's different ways to lead. But when you look at what, the point you brought up with Tennessee and the way they were able to do that, I think you got the coaching. I mean, you can't sit there and physically get in the guys' bodies. We had a captain's meetings breakfast this morning. He started. Common theme, passion, doing it now. It's over before you can think about it. And everyone is sitting there and you can see it. And these are guys that are out here on the field, and it's, what is it? What is it? It's right here, it's right now. How are you going to do it? Guys, you have to do it. Coaches can't. You can sit there and look at X's and O's all day and show them this guy's got this tendency, here's what he's going to do, but you can't get in the body.
As the season was going along a little tough last year, and then to beat Tennessee, as a player this year, is it anything tangible that carries over from that event onto this next season or not?
I think there's always some excitement. It takes you into the off season. You get through the season, you get through everything going on, you come back in the weight room, and you get something that's just positive that you're ending on instead of something negative. And you can sit there and always, everybody can spin anything, but if there's a nice positive, you can sit there and go in there and you can, you're hitting the weights and rocks in there beating you to death. I mean, it's a little better feeling to end on a positive than it is a negative. So I think that there's something to that. And the guys that left can come back, and they're immediate impact. I mean, the guys seniors that graduated right away can come back in there and go, look, guys, this is how we close it out. Take it to another step.
I don't mean this to sound as mean as it's probably going to sound, but they go into the offseason thinking, we can beat Tennessee with Matt Roark at quarterback. Yeah. We can beat anybody. And you're in the SEC and you're trying to climb that ladder. You've got to have the confidence that you can go play with anybody. And this team coming up is very young. Most people couldn't pick the players out if they were standing right beside you, so they've got that issue. But to do what they did, and I love Bill Ransdell's perspective as a quarterback, he knew what had to happen in this regard. The coaches had to have the ability to convince those guys this would work. And the defense had to have the ability to say, this isn't going to work unless we really play the best game we've played all year. So both sides of the ball had to really put it together to pull that off, and they did. And I just have to believe that has to have a huge impact on spring practice, into fall camp, and getting ready for the season and into that opener against Louisville.
As looking back on it, Darrell, does that win over Tennessee tell us more about Joker's coaching ability or Derek Dooley's lack of coaching ability at Tennessee?
I think it's more with Joker's ability. I really do. And to fairness, the first series, Tennessee knew what was up. Yeah. They're going to run the single wing, and all we have to do is line up and tackle the guy. The plan was simple for Tennessee at that point. No tricks. This is all we can do. This is all we're going to do. You just got to go stop it, and they couldn't do it. UK's defense kept them in the game. They won the game. Matt Roark gets a lot of credit. The defense, kind of saved the day. Put UK in position. They just do just enough to pull it off. And the coaching staff had to instill the confidence in those players. Because let's face it, the season at that point was terrible. Play this last game and let's go to the house, or let's pull off something really cool.
Well, that win over Tennessee did turn down the heat on Joker's seat just a little bit. Former Kentucky football player Joe Fetterspill, who was an all-SEC performer, played 9 years in the NFL, some of that with the New Orleans Saints, says the Kentucky football program isn't really moving forward. He says it's moving more sideways.
I think Joker's doing all the right things. It's a combination of getting players. It's a combination of schedule. It's a combination of everything coming together, and it's been really hard for him. He's had some injuries, had some people go down. He lost Randall Cobb, which was a great leader. We haven't been able to replace that guy yet. So if he can find that leader to step forward and bring it all together, I think Joker will have a nice season this year. Yeah, and Joker is on the hot seat. Joker, everybody knows that. But you wish him well because he played here. He's from the state of Kentucky, and this is his first love. Why not have this guy succeed for us?
In a way, was the coaching waiting kind of a bad thing in that there was an assumption that he wouldn't miss a beat, just keep winning 7 or 8 games and go to bowls?
I never did really like the coaching waiting thing because if you don't take it to the next level, I thought Coach Brooks got us out of that, bottom, and he got us in the middle, and then the only way we were looking was let's go up. And we just started been going sideways right now. And because Joker was here for 3 or 4 years before that, and then they gave him the head coach job, no honeymoon, we expected results right away. And it's different sitting in the big chair.
Joe, what does a well-coached football team look like?
Well, I guess a well-coached football team, when you look at it overall, is that very few mistakes. They have a type of players that lead on and off the field. They make the most of the talent they have, and then they win games that they're supposed to win.
Outstanding points by an outstanding linebacker. You notice the old coaching waiting has kind of gone away?
Yep.
And Kentucky's an obvious reason why, and he's right. I was in the same boat. Rich got it to a certain point. Joker at least had to maintain it or take it to the next level. Maybe Rich Brooks got out just in time. He could see what was coming on the horizon, because they did take a huge dip. And had they not, Joe was right, had they not lost Randall Cobb, last year would not have been nearly as bad. Talented player, yes, but he ruled. He owned that locker room. He owned Wildcat Den. And to take that out of the mix, now it's a young team without an identity and a head coach who's expected to pick it up right where Rich Brooks left it off, and it was just not a good situation.
When we come back, we're going to hear from those UK football legends who will let us relive some of their greatest moments, and I'll guarantee you there's going to be a couple that you've forgotten about through the years. Daryl, though, is going to tell us about one of the newest great memories for UK sports fans.
Absolutely. Celebrate is the name of our book that we've put out, 136 pages capturing the UK Championship basketball season. We take it from Midnight Madness all the way through the Final Four and the championship, even into the celebration at Rupp Arena, where it all began at Madness. Magazine.catspaws.com to order.
Have you driven a Ford lately? Well, stop by Allstate Ford and test drive a new Explorer or F-150, or visit us online at allstatetrucks.com. Allstate Ford, on the Watterson at Poplar Level Road.
It's Chevy Truck Month, and now is the time to get your new truck. Bachman has more Chevy trucks than any other dealer, all at fantastic prices. You'll get every Chevy incentive plus exclusive Bachman discounts during Chevy Truck Month. Tremendous selection of Silverados and every dependable Chevy truck. Plus, you save more during Chevy Truck Month with exclusive Bachman discounts. All Chevrolets are created equal. Bachman makes the difference.
Yeah, I just picked her up. We should be there in 20 minutes.
Who is it? Oh, it's him. Where is he?
I know. Yeah, I know.
Hold on.
I want to be the president.
A news anchor.
A Division I basketball player.
A writer.
An investment banker. A zookeeper.
A surgeon. I want to play field hockey in the Olympics.
I want to go to Columbia University.
I want to grow up and have a family.
When I grow up, I just want to be alive.
Think
before you drink.
Join the club at Sam Swope Auto Group. When you service a vehicle at any Sam Swope dealership, you automatically become a Service VIP Rewards member. You get member pricing on parts and service, lost key return, and emergency roadside assistance. Plus, you can earn points that qualify you for discounts on your next vehicle purchase, up to $2,500. The best part is becoming a member is free. Become a member today at any Sam Swope dealership. Nobody walks away because everybody saves.
Have you driven a Ford lately? Well, stop by Allstate Ford and test drive a new Edge or Explorer, or visit us online at allstatetrucks.com. Allstate Ford, on the Watterson at Poplar Level Road.
Did you have an oh crap moment like before the game where you're kind of like this?
No, I didn't. Now, I had that oh crap moment on Monday and Tuesday.
I don't know about you, Daryl. I'm just trying to get my oh crap moments down to just Monday and Tuesday. It's kind of how I'm living my life. Welcome back to the Red and Blue Review, as we're talking to some of the legends of UK football. And what we're going to do in this segment is let some of those guys tell you about some of their greatest memories about being a Wildcat football player. And we talked with Ron Stewart, who was not the rock star. No. Well, he was a star, but not a rock star. He was huge in the Peach Bowl game. I think he had 3 touchdowns in the 76 football game for the Wildcats, in which they were victorious in that bowl game, one of the leading running backs in Kentucky history. And he said his greatest UK moment was the first moment.
My greatest moment was the first time you walk out here. Yeah. As a freshman, you walk out into this environment, and you see this stadium fill up, and you realize you're in the big time. And that's probably the one memory that does not escape me.
Why is that? Because I hear players today who say the exact same thing you experienced 40 years ago. There's nothing like the first time you come out of the tunnel.
Because you never experienced anything like it before. I mean, all your life you have dreamed and set goals of doing something on a big stage, and then all of a sudden you walk out there and you're a part of that stage. It's just something you just don't forget.
I think that's fascinating. That's what he picks out. This is the guy who had 3 touchdowns, all 21 points, and was the MVP of the Peach Bowl. We're part of the team that knocked out Penn State that year when they were outstanding, and that's his best memory, is the first time you ever walk out on the Commonwealth.
You know, it's amazing that I think we get a bit jaded about the fact that we go to arenas all the time in stadiums where there's 70, 80, 100,000 people. These are high school kids who played in front of 400 or 500, and in your first college experience, you're in front of, you know, more people that's in your hometown.
Absolutely. And to me, what we all need to come back, me and you and all the fans out there. For me, I remember the very first time I stepped into Riverfront Stadium. When I walked out of the tunnel, it was like, oh my gosh, all there. Capture that memory. That's what every college kid, and a lot of college kids are going to feel this fall when they come out of the tunnel for the first time. Same experience.
Tennessee quarterback Peyton Manning never lost to the Kentucky football team, but his pappy, Archie Manning, cannot make that claim. Joe Federspiel says his greatest moment and memory of being a Wildcat was knocking off #1 Ole Miss.
It was my sophomore year. We had Ole Miss was up here, and they were like #3 in the country, and we had them right on Stall Field, and we beat them 10-9, I believe it was. It gets so far, I remember. It was 10-9. Archie Manning was the quarterback, and it was the biggest upset of the year as far as the SEC, as far as we were concerned. And to make matters even more, part of it was the next year, 2 years later, I'm playing with Archie, and he still talks about that game.
How did you guys celebrate that win, Joe?
Well, the 2 keys was in order at the time there, but it was, on the serious side, it was a great win. Coach Ray, that was his first year here, and everything was rolling. He came in with all these high hopes, and we had high hope. And then with a win like that against a ranked Ole Miss team, it was pretty special and pretty important for our program. And yeah, it was a big night for University of Kentucky football.
How did that play going forward? And I asked that because last year's team was struggling and then knocked off Tennessee with a makeshift quarterback they put in 1 week. What did that do for your team? What can that do for this team going forward?
Well, it keeps that sense of believing alive. You know, sports is a great thing about, you know, 1 week you can look real terrible, and the next week you can look like world beaters, and just that magic of being on a football field with 11 guys all wanting to do one thing, and that's to win a football game. So yeah, it can get up and down, especially with this team. You know, there's still a lot of unknowns. We're still looking at a quarterback this week. Can he come back from his shoulders? Are these new guys going to do? Who's going to replace some other players on that offensive line? So this is a type of game and type of team that, you know, they can surprise a lot of people.
You know what I love about hearing the old stories like that? To me, it's the way society is today. UK beat LSU in 3 overtimes. Everybody storms the field. It's the greatest moment ever in UK football history. Yep. Well, you ask the guys back in '97 when Tim Couch and they beat Alabama, they stormed the field. Greatest moment ever. There's been lots of them. Go all the way back. You know what it would have been if you could take UK knocking off Archie Manning and #1 Ole Miss. What would have happened in Commonwealth Stadium with ESPN carrying the game, with all the build-up? It would have been the same exact atmosphere. Guys back then just didn't get that to enjoy the same atmosphere of storming the field and all the coolness that you get now, but it was just as big a moment.
Yeah, I remember when I was a kid, what I would do on Sundays after church, I would rush home because back in those days, ABC Sports had a 30-minute college football wrap-up they did, because if you were going to watch college football in those days, you had to wait for a show. I mean, that wasn't live streamed, barely televised, so you just grabbed little nuggets like that when you could. Well, with Missouri coming into the SEC, Kentucky is now getting a league mate against whom they are undefeated. Kentucky is 2-0 all-time against Missouri, and Jeff Van Oat says that is his greatest UK memory.
Possibly. You know, I don't know a lot about Missouri. I know Kentucky's 2-0 against them. We beat them when I was a redshirt out there in Missouri. They had great players, Gary Lane, Johnny Rowland, a great pro, and big Russ Washington, longtime offensive tackle, and we beat them 6-0. Terry Beatles had a big day. He was All-American safety that year. I was a redshirt, so I got to eat 2 pregame meals and just warm up. And then when I was a senior, or a junior or senior, I was talking to Hack today, Wilbur Hackett, about him. He's going to officiate tonight. And we beat them here when they had Garnett Phelps and over at Old Stoll Field. So yeah, I just don't know enough about them. I read they had a great quarterback that had a great year last year, and it's come a long way. Blaine Gabbert, I think, is playing with Jacksonville, and they one time were a big power. And I just don't know enough about them or Texas A&M, but you know, there's nobody easy, and unfortunately, some of the easy ones around there you don't want. You know, I'm kind of a purist in that respect. I love to see it play U of L. I love playing Western or Eastern because I think it's great for the state and great for high school and college football here. You can have some of these other people, and that's not an argument that the coaches or the administration wants me to make. You know, they've told me that before when I've said that publicly. But I like to see measure yourself every time out. It's the only way to determine what kind of team you really are.
Jeff Van Oat is one of my favorite people in the whole wide world. Very outspoken. He hates the Kent States and those type of games. He wants to have quality opponents, see how good you are, and just can't tolerate having to play through something like that. They just love him to death. And you notice he slipped in some old lineman names in there when he's talking about Missouri. Warhorse, and just he knows more about football and has forgotten more than I'll ever know. Just a great guy.
Think about Jeff Van Oat. He went into the NFL in 1969 and played through 1986 as a lineman.
As a lineman, a Pro Bowler at that, and I was at the Georgia Dome for the NCAA tournament, and I was walking in one of the meeting rooms where we were doing interviews. There's a picture of Van Oat on the wall. It's like, how cool is that? I had to snap that with my phone and bring it back.
I agree. One of my all-time favorite Wildcats. We come back, we'll tell you why one Kentucky legend will be wearing the colors of the opposing team in Commonwealth Stadium coming up this fall. As we head to the break, Howie wanted me to remind you that if you want to keep up on what's going on Cardinal Nation, go to his website, cardinalsports.com.
Have you driven a Ford lately? Well, stop by Allstate Ford and test drive a new Explorer or F-150. Or visit us online at allstatetrucks.com. Allstate Ford, on the Waterson at Poplar Level Road.
It's Chevy Truck Month, and now is the time to get your new truck. Bachman has more Chevy trucks than any other dealer, all at fantastic prices. You'll get every Chevy incentive plus exclusive Bachman discounts during Chevy Truck Month. Tremendous selection of Silverados and every dependable Chevy truck. Plus, you save more during Chevy Truck Month with exclusive Bachman discounts. All Chevrolets are created equal. Bachman makes the difference.
I just picked her up. We should be there in 20 minutes.
Who is it? Oh, it's him. Where is he?
I know. Yeah, I know.
I want to be the president.
A news anchor.
A Division I basketball player.
A writer.
An investment banker. A zookeeper.
A surgeon. I want to play field hockey in the Olympics.
I want to go to Columbia University.
I want to grow up and have a family.
When I grow up, I just want to be alive.
Think before you drink.
Join Join the club at Sam Swope Auto Group. When you service a vehicle at any Sam Swope dealership, you automatically become a Service VIP Rewards member. You get member pricing on parts and service, lost key return, and emergency roadside assistance. Plus, you can earn points that qualify you for discounts on your next vehicle purchase, up to $2,500. The best part is becoming a member is free. Become a member today at any Sam Swope dealership. Nobody walks away because everybody saves.
Have you driven a Ford lately? Well, stop by Allstate Ford and test drive a new Edge or Explorer. Or visit us online at allstatetrucks.com. Allstate Ford on the Watterson at Poplar Level Road.
Being a daddy is the difference maker this week. Joe Federspiel, his son, will be on the opposing sideline when Western Kentucky goes rolling into Commonwealth Stadium on September 15th. So Joe's got a little bit of mixed emotions about the outcome of that one ball game.
My son's going to be a junior down there, and he plays linebacker, and he always wanted to play for a team that had Kentucky in it, so he said, and yeah, it's a special game for us, and we're going to be playing it here, so yeah, Mike's coming up, and he's going to bring his A game.
Easier I'm sorry, Daryl. I'm just curious, easier as a player or easier as a father of a player during the game?
I think it's easier for a player during the game. You know, I got to sit in the stands there and sort of whistle Dixie and sing Old Glory at the same time.
So red that day, blue that day, what do you wear that day, Joe?
Well, I just wear a white color. We got white here, and Western has white, and I'm just all white.
Oh, wow. How cool is that, and how rare is that to be able to sit in the stands and watch your son play football for somebody playing not in the same stadium, but for the same team that you played for once upon a time?
Well, when they played Tennessee, Joe's boy back got the better of that. I mean, they almost won down there last year. That will be one of the more dangerous games that Joker and the Cats face this year. They can't afford to lose many of them. They definitely can't afford to lose that one.
No.
Thanks to the Legends for joining us here this week on the Red and Blue Review.
When you visit Kentucky and savor some of its unique experiences, you'll be surprised by how much your vacation really comes to life. To plan your Kentucky vacation, call today or visit KentuckyTourism.com.